Okay, I'm going to get started and people can join us as they log on. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for our program. My name is Helen Liu, and I'm the Programming and Partnerships Manager at Cary Library. Before we begin, I'd like to thank the Cary Library Foundation. Their support enables us to bring programs like today's event to you. I would also like to thank the public libraries in Ashland, Bedford, Belmont, Groton, and Needham for partnering with us on this program. Today, Jennifer Gehly He will talk about AI Unleashed, elevating creativity across mediums. This program is being recorded and will be posted to the library's YouTube channel. If you have any questions, please submit them to the Q&A or chat, and Jennifer will answer them at the end of the program. Last year, Jennifer presented two programs for Ashland Public Library on the topic of unleashing your potential with AI technology, igniting productivity, creativity, and wellness, part 1 and 2. And you can view these recordings on our YouTube channel, which is linked directly to the Ashland Public Library recordings. The Cary Library series with Jennifer takes a deeper dive into these tools, and you can view those recordings of previous programs in this AI series on our YouTube channel. Please join us on May 23rd at 1 p.m. for the last program in this series, Guardians of Truth, Combating AI Deepfakes. Now I'd like to introduce our speaker. Jennifer Gehly He is a visionary tech entrepreneur known for her expertise in web design and development, particularly in the nonprofits, libraries, education, arts, and higher education industries. As the founder of WebGlow AI, Jennifer's inspirational leadership propels the company's mission to empower diverse communities and encouraging them to pursue greater technological achievements and create a lasting impact. Welcome, Jennifer. We're so excited to get started once again.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Helen. And I want to thank the Cary Library for asking me to do this AI series. I'm so excited today because we're talking about how to use AI for creativity, and this is a topic that I'm really passionate about and I really love. So I was so excited about this presentation. Um, Helen already introduced me, but just to say a little bit more about myself, I'm Jennifer Gehly He. I have 15 years of experience as a web designer for libraries, nonprofits, and even higher ed. I have experience teaching technology classes to both students and librarians. And like Helen said, I founded WebGlow AI, which is a company that teaches students AI, and we also offer web design services. So just to kind of get started, first I want to welcome you all. Thank you so much for coming and learning about AI with us. You can see on the left, we have the very first um, magazine cover that was created with AI. And a lot's going on right now with AI. And AI is doing a lot right now to kind of like change the art world. And so I kind of wanted to start there. There's both positive changes and negative changes. I'm just gonna try to move this bar a little bit. All right. Um, so what are some of the positive changes of AI on the art world? So first of all, there are artists out there who are able to create art in a more efficient way by, because AI is able to automate art. There's what we'd call like a new AI art market that's happening, which it could be really exciting for some artists. Um, Another positive change is that perhaps somebody could use AI instead of outsourcing to an artist or an illustrator for certain projects. Um, and then also AI technology is able to support artists with various disabilities and then people with different disabilities just in general. So that's a positive change. But with some of these positive changes, of course, we also see some negative changes. And so in the art community, there's a lot of job replacement concerns. There's also issues around is AI art going to further devalue human-made art and handmade products? There's some copyright issues. And then also, this is an issue that I've had for a while, is how this kind of AI automation could end up leading to toxic productivity. One thing I want to say here is that I realize that the issues around AI are really complex. And so I want everybody here to feel that your perspectives and your feelings around AI, they are all valid and they are all okay. So when we open it up for Q&A, feel free to give me your honest opinion. Personally, I have a lot of artists in my family, and um, I even myself can would perhaps label myself as a digital artist. And so I have mixed feelings about AI and how it's affecting the art world. And so I just want people to feel really comfortable. You do not have to be, super pro AI here. You can just be really honest. A little bit about my company. We do a lot of AI courses. I do AI consulting. And then, like I said, we also have web design packages. And so you could visit us on webglowai.com. The agenda for today. So first we're going to talk about, do like a basic general introduction. I wanted to keep it really interesting. So I'm going to do like sort of a basic definition of AI, and then we're going to do a really fun like truth versus myth sort of quiz for people. Then we're going to jump into some AI tools. I started it off with doing some tools that are really good for brainstorming, tools that could help spark creativity. Then we're going to jump into some actual image generators and tools that might be used specifically for drawing, for like graphic design. Then we're going to do like a more deep dive into some tools that are really good for creating digital content. Um, Everything from creating like knitting patterns to music, animation, and even creating websites. And then we're going to finish it up with some kind of fun actual project ideas. Um, we have like kind of building a video game like fantasy world, making a digital collage, making bookmarks, and we're just going to have a lot of fun with this. All right, so now we're going to do our definition. So our basic definition of AI is artificial intelligence leverages computers and machines to mimic the problem solving and decision making capabilities of the human mind. So an example of this is we can think of artificial intelligence as a program that has been designed based off of what they would call a neural network, which was loosely based off of the way that humans think, although it's loosely based off of it, so it doesn't completely imitate the way people think. Um, and we actually experience AI every day in our lives, although we might not realize. There's AI literally like in our GPS systems. There's AI, or they might call invisible AI. We might see it in online shopping or social media, where it's actually giving us content, like feeding us content that it thinks we would be interested in. We also hear about AI with things like self-driving cars, and we see it in like multilingual translators, or what they would call natural language processing. So here we are at our truth or myth. Um, is generative AI creative? And I actually have the webinar chat up. So if you want, you can put your answer in the chat and I will see it hopefully. So you could put truth or myth. Is generative AI creative? And when I say generative AI, what I'm talking about are AI tools like ChatGPT, where you can go on and you can type a chat, like a text into a prompt, and then it comes up with an output. So a lot of people are saying truth. One person said myth. Someone said both. All right, so the strict answer for this is truth. But if you said both, I think you're still correct because I put but. Um, Generative AI's creativity is limited and cannot be compared to human beings' creativity. So if I had asked, is generative AI, is the creativity, to the level of a human being, then that would be myth. But it's you could probably say both too. So what everyone is basically saying about this is that generative AI is creative, but it's in a limited way, and you cannot compare it to humans. So our next truth or myth is generative AI deceptive? Can it deceive you? Is it capable of deceiving you? So I'll pause. You could put truth or myth into the chat. So somebody said both, somebody said yes, someone said no. We're seeing a lot of yeses, we're seeing a lot of truth. Awesome. Yes. So Donna said truth, and then she said hallucinations. And that is 100% right. Good for you, Donna. Um, so the answer here is that yes, it it can deceive you. So the interesting thing about this is we have what's called an AI hallucination. And so AI models have been built to try to give you a truthful answer. However, we know that the answer is not always correct. And so when they hallucinate, they're basically giving you the wrong answer, but they're really making it seem like the AI model is trying to give you the truth. So it's very, very, very convincing. Even if the answer's wrong, it's basically like explaining it and saying, no, 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 like, this is right. And even if you question the model and you say, are you sure? The model will be like, no, I'm absolutely sure, right? And so this is actually what makes it hard to trust the output. And this is also why we say that generative AI is very dependent on humans, because it would take a person to verify that the output is indeed correct. But then another thing that I think is really important to add to this is that the AI is not trying to deceive you the way that a person might, because there's no like intent there. The AI is not doing it on purpose. It's literally just the way that it's been designed. So our final truth or myth is generative AI accessible? So you could say truth or myth. And I'm also thinking about accessibility um, as far as access, and also accessibility as far as being accessibility compliant. So those are both things. So Clara said that she thinks that's truth. We have other people saying yes, that it's accessible. Someone says no, it doesn't seem to be. Um, so someone says myth. All right. So yes, I would say truth and myth. Yes. And Donna, you keep getting these right. So when we're talking about accessibility in regards to access, um, on one hand, AI is very accessible because, like I said, it's found in GPS systems. You can find it like on any AI app on your cell phone. But on the other hand, there are access issues. And so there is a lot of talk about how AI is going to kind of further this like digital divide. And it could be anything from um, people who just, don't have an education when it comes to technology. But it could also be things like, if AI becomes too expensive for some people. So we can't say that access is fair, across the board. When we look at generative AI as far as accessibility, like meeting the disability like standard of what accessibility should be online or on an app. Um, the interesting thing about this is it's mixed, because there are AI tools that are being designed right now and that are on the market to help people with all different types of disabilities. However, because not all businesses prioritize following accessibility standards online, and because we've seen such an explosion of AI development happening so fast and quickly, we cannot promise that all AI tools that are online are actually indeed accessibility compliant. And so I want people to be aware of that when you're navigating these tools. And thank you so much for participating in that little quiz. So now we're going to jump into AI tools for, brainstorming, getting creative inspiration. And we're even going to talk a little bit about the design thinking process. So some of my favorite tools for brainstorming, I really like this one called Fabry. It's like a design sandbox, and there's a free version of it. And I was having a lot of fun playing around with it. It's a lot of like cool templates. There's another one I love, which is an AI whiteboard, and it's like you can use it for mind mapping and coming up with like simple like prototypes and stuff. It's called Mural. And then another one I really love is called eDraw Mind. This is a brainstorming tool, but it's really special because it actually has a multilingual translator sort of embedded in it. And so you could use it in like an English language learning situation, but you could also use it as a way to brainstorm and then potentially even like translate your brainstorm from like one language to another. So it's really, really fun. I really love this tool called Chat Mind. It lets you create intricate, intricate mind maps in seconds based off of text prompts, and there's a free version. Um, and so I just thought it was fantastic, and I was having a lot of fun playing with this tool. So then I added some tools that I think people could use just to get creative inspiration. Of course, you could always use ChatGPT for brainstorming and coming up with designing patterns. And I personally use ChatGPT all the time. There's another tool I really love, and I know I've talked about this in previous presentations, but there's a chatbot called Replica, and you actually create a very human like avatar and you build relationship or rapport with this chatbot over time. But on Replica, there's like a lot of journaling prompts, and so there is a way that you could do creative journaling using Replica. There's another tool that I really love, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. It's called Ideogram, and it's like an AI, almost like a social media sort of platform that uses AI and shares a lot of AI images. And so that's a really awesome way to get inspiration. And if you really love scrolling on websites like Pinterest or like Instagram, then you really would love this ideogram website. And then, of course, you can get a lot of inspiration from Midjourney. Midjourney is one of the best AI image generators out there. One of the cool things about Midjourney is that you use it on a platform called Discord. So you actually can see what other artists are working on, like in live time. And so it's a really fun way to gain inspiration. From more of like a research perspective, I definitely recommend perplexity.ai. It has a really awesome way to type in prompts and kind of make connections with like other, because it gives you like other ideas for either like text suggestions, or they'll give you like image ideas or other areas on the internet you could search. So they have a really cool discover feature. And then I really also love Gemini, which is like the version, it's like the new Google Bard version. And basically it's pulling data from the internet in real time. And so it's a lot of fun to use Gemini to get um, like creative inspiration. So here's the website I was telling you guys about called Ideogram. And it's basically what you do is you type in an AI prompt, and it's gonna pull art that's already been created by like generated by AI generators from the community. And so it kind of has that sort of social media feel where you could follow other artists and gain creative inspiration, as well as create, AI art on the platform. So then I also want to talk about AI for design thinking. Just in case somebody here is not familiar with design thinking, it's a framework for creating designs. A lot of artists use it and then sort of like testing them. And sometimes it's to make sure that it actually has like market viability, but oftentimes it could also just be to test to see if the design would actually work. And so, of course, AI can be used in design thinking. It can be used to create like a virtual prototype of a design, but then it could also be used in sort of a more predictive analysis way, because AI does a really good job with making predictions based off data sets. And so there's a really cool article that I linked to here that talks more about doing like a design thinking sort of exercise with ChatGPT. And there's also a website I'm going to share at the end of this presentation where you could search for other like design thinking AI tools out there if this is something you're interested in. So now we're going to jump into all different sorts of AI tools, graphic generators, using AI for creating color palettes and like different types of fonts. And then we're going to talk more about using it in like patterns and designs and just a lot of really fascinating stuff. So here are some of my favorite AI image generators. Um, like I said, one of my absolute favorites is Midjourney. I think it is one of the best ones on the market right now. It gives you like a limited amount of art you can create for free. And then it has like a pro version you have to pay and you can have create more art. If you are interested in trying an image generator, but you don't want to spend money, I would recommend Dolly. It's pretty good and it's open source. So when you create art, just be aware that the art you're creating would have like a Creative Commons license. There's another one's called Stable Diffusion. And the cool thing about Stable Diffusion is they actually have a way you can turn images into animation. And then for people who are concerned about AI art and whether or not they asked artists for their consent by before they like trained the AI model on whatever art they were using, there's one called Dream Up, which is created by DeviantArt, and it's marketed as like a more responsible way to use these AI image generators because they used art in their model with artist consent. And so I would recommend Dream Up if you're concerned about that. Another tool that I really love, which is actually free, is Google's FX image generator. They have a test kitchen image generator, and it's really fun because not only is it free, but it lets users really experiment with like different filters when creating AI images. And it lets you play around with different types of styles and different types of lighting. One reason I love this is because a lot of the image generators may not offer you that guidance. So you might sort of be guessing or trying to like learn some of that from scratch. So I really appreciated that they literally have options like down here, you can see it says natural light, blue and orange, Baroque watercolor. And so it's a really cool way to sort of play around with different types of images and different types of styles. So here are some of my favorite AI tools, particularly for graphic design. This one, Canvas by NVIDIA, has um, like a beta version, which I believe is totally a free download. It's web-based, but it's really cool because it turns brush strokes into like more sophisticated pictures. There's another one called Pixlr, and it's an AI like photo editing tool that has some like advanced features. There's another one, I believe it's pronounced Crello, and it's supposed to cater to non-designers. It's like a template of library of like templates. Reminds me a little bit of Canva. In case you're not familiar with Canva, it's a free tool that does you can do a lot of graphic design on it, but it sort of caters to non-designers too. So it has that kind of feeling, and of course, there's AI infused into the product. Then I really love Figma. It's a AI-driven platform, but it's specifically designed for more collaborative graphic design work. And then Be Funky has been around for a while. It's a photo editor. A lot of graphic designers like it. You can do graphic design and collage making, but it has more like AI infused in it as like a more recent feature. We have some AI tools and resources for Makerspace. In case there's anyone listening right now who doesn't know what Makerspace is, Makerspace is a movement that we've seen run through like library science and education, where it's supposed to create a space for people to come and be able to experiment and explore and play around with making different things. And typically, makerspaces will have like low tech options like knitting and crocheting, and then kind of go more to high tech. And the high tech stuff could be anything from like 3D printing to robotics. Um, and so, of course, AI is making its own mark on the makerspace movement. And so, just to let people know, there's uh, a really kind of, it's been around for a while. It's called Arduino. And it's sort of like a computer coding way for people to sort of like make robots and stuff. But there's a new like version of this that uses Python and the Arduino kits. So you can make your own personal assistant robot that has AI in it. And then, of course, there's more AI infused robotic kits that are like making it into the market. A lot of them are crowdsourced right now, but I linked to the article if you're interested in buying one of these kits and trying it out. I do recommend Canva Magic Studio because they have a lot of ability for people to design like lots of different things, but they have some cool AI features sort of embedded into Canva right now They have a magic write and magic design feature. Another thing I wanted to add, because I thought this was really fascinating, was I found um, this free web-based tool. It's called Yes Chat Perler Beat Designer, because Perler beats tend to be a really big deal in makerspace. And it was really fun because you literally can type in a Perler beat design that you have, just type in a text idea. So you could, type in like Pikachu and it would literally come up with the chart for you. But then also you can upload an image and it will give you a chart with all like the colors and everything based on the image that you uploaded. So this next one does cost money. It's sort of like the freemium where you can do a little bit for free and then they want to charge you. It's called CF Spark and it's run by Creative Fabrica. But one reason I love it is because it has a whole suite of AI infused artistic tools, anything from like sketching to patterns, like creating a painting. So this graphic right here is of a sheep, and this was created by CF Spark's AI sketch tool. I really love this tool called Let's Enhance um, because it's an AI generated image enhancer and upscaler. And when we say upscaler, typically what we mean is when you create an image, like a graphic, and has a certain amount of pixels, and then you're trying to upscale, you're trying to enlarge it. And typically, sometimes you need to enlarge it for printing. Um, but this kind of lets you do that for free. And then it also has some AI tools so you can improve and edit photos. These are my two favorite tools for color pickers. And in case you don't know what a color picker is, this is used a lot in graphic design and in website design. And basically, color pickers work in a way, there's actually different ways that they work, but um, one way that it works is that you could upload an image and then you could pick different colors that you love, and it will kind of pull those colors out and tell you what the term is like the hex code is for it. But then other color pickers work in a different sort of way where they might suggest colors to you and then show you other colors that look good with those colors. And so as an artist, these tools can be, invaluable. Like if you're making jewelry or let's say you're designing clothing, it could just be really awesome to be able to use these tools. And then also having the AI element in it is really fun because it's sort of making it more powerful. So this tool is actually not out on the market yet, but I thought was really interesting because it's called Cole.ai and it's kind of being marketed as a tool that's going to put graphic designers out of business. Now, I hope that's not really true because a lot of my work is actually in graphic design, but I think the whole point of this is that you'll be able to tell this AI tool kind of what you're looking for as far as like a graphic design project, and it will do a really good job of actually making at least a first draft of that graphic design. And so of course, I don't like to encourage people to use these tools as a replacement for graphic artists or graphic designers, but I definitely think that these tools can be helpful as like a good first. Unfortunately, this isn't available to public yet. Hopefully, it will be out soon. It'll be interesting to see if it lives up to all the hype. This tool I really love. I just have a lot of fun playing with it. And of course, I'm a web designer, so this is a tool that would help me a lot. I could also see people in publishing, though, being interested in this. It's called FontJoy, and basically it's using AI to generate font pairings based off of user prompts. And so it's, like I said, like super fun and really great to use in like graphic design or creative projects. This tool is AutoDraw. It's created by Google. I really love this tool for AI demos, actually, because it doesn't require an account. It's totally free. Basically, what happens here is you do like a simple doodle, and it sort of creates its own drawing based on what you think the basic, based on what the AI thinks your doodle is, like what you're trying to draw. One reason I actually like it for AI demos is that it doesn't always get it 100% correct. And so it's really great, sort of as like a teachable moment for people to realize that AI is not perfect. And so you can kind of see like it trying. And this is a really fun tool to play around with. So some tools that I really love for making patterns and designs. Of course, you can always use ChatGPT. Um, ChatGPT is recommended for things like knitting patterns, beading patterns, sewing patterns, recipes. One thing I will say about it though is like what I've been saying this whole time is that AI is not always 100% right. And of course, it's pulling from a data set, which is, content that's already been created by people, but it's kind of like pulling from it in a way where it's not able to really think about it like the way a person would. And so what we recommend is that when you ask like ChatGPT or any AI to create a pattern for you, that you're really careful about testing the pattern and kind of working out all the kinks and making sure the pattern actually really works. You can't assume that it's going to create like a 100% correct pattern for you. And so that's one of the reasons why we say that these AI generative tools are still dependent on people. Another really fun tool is called patterned AI, and you can create royalty-free patterns. Another one's called Patternsmith. It's more of like a software. It's on your computer, and you can create more complex patterns. Style DNA is more of like an AI personal stylist, which is kind of fun. And then this one called Room GPT is a free AI tool that can kind of help you visualize and plan your room for interior decorating or interior design. And we are seeing more of these types of tools kind of like hitting the market to make design in different ways easier for people. So just here are some AI art project ideas, and we're basically talking about things you could do with using image generators. You can make paper dolls. You could do art collages, bookmarks, paper lanterns, masks, games. You could use it as the back drop of like shoebox murals. You could do really cool like holiday printables. And then of course you could always ask Midjourney to make sort of like sticker art and print it on sticker paper. And then of course any AI, chat, sort of like text-based AI technology can do a pretty good job typically with like writing poetry. So now we're going to talk about AI tools more along the lines for like digital content creation. So we're going to talk about like web design and use things. I want to talk a little bit about some of my favorite writing tools. Um, I really love Notion.ai. It creates a lot of like docs and projects and collaborative wikis. There's another um, writing that's more like consistent across like for your companies like Brand Voice or whatever, kind of like across different platforms. There's also another one called Write Sonic, which can do a lot of like copywriting and paraphrasing. And another one that I really love is Copysmith, and it does a lot of like SEO up that are really fantastic, more for like creative writing groups. This first one's called Quail, and it's a free resource. This has actually been developed by a nonprofit. It's supposed to help students and even or with teaching writing. And so there's a lot of really interesting AI infused like literacy tools there. Then of course, Grammarly has an AI infused grammar checker. Hemingway Editor is like a free app. It's supposed to support people with writing. Some of these tools like Notion AI and Audio Pen, we're getting a little bit more into like transcribing, but that's really can be fantastic because if you're at a meeting and you want to kind of like speak, which could be helpful in like a more sophisticated writing project. Then Google Live Transcribe, again, it's a free resource that can start transcribing like of Google Translate because it's still one of the strongest multilingual translation tools on the market. And of course, sometimes we need to use that in writing projects. And then just like a helpful tip for people that are like in education online. And unfortunately, the plagiarism checkers are marketed as having a really high accuracy rate. But then when researchers check them, they say the accuracy rate really isn't that high. Checkers to see if content has been created with AI or not, it really is not as accurate as you might think. I've also heard that if you run AI created content through AIs multiple times, it is something to kind of keep in mind. Then there's a lot of tools on the market right now that actually create AI generated picture books. One that I really like is this one called it. Basically, what it does is it's like creating kind of like a children's illustrated book for you in, pretty fast. And then you can actually buy the book in like a print version if you want for like a minimal fee. There's another one called Create Book AI, and it creates a children's books in minutes. But another way of going about this actually is if you just used um, another tool like ChatGPT and maybe even use Canva because Canva has a lot of book templates. You could create your own book pretty easily. But what I would do the copyright, particularly for AI when it comes to books and book publishing, is like really a shaded gray area. So I tell people, if you really want and sell it in a way where you really have like full copyright privileges, I would actually recommend perhaps not using AI for that. That create coloring pages in minutes, and it's actually really easy to create coloring pages with AI. Midjourney can create coloring pages pretty easily. All you have to do is when you type in what you want Midjourney to produce, you can just literally put black and white or coloring page, and it will do that. Typically resized into like a bigger image in order for you to print it out. There's another tool called Leonardo.ai, and there's like a freemium version. It works on Discord, just like Midjourney, and it can do coloring sheets. And then this tool is really user-friendly, particularly if you're not comfortable with Discord, and it's called, I asked it to make me a coloring page of a library, and it did, and then it's just really easy to, like, download the coloring page. So now we're gonna jump into some really awesome AI tools for creating music. The first one that I recommend is called Jukebox, and it's made by OpenAI. It's a really powerful tool that draws from a large database of music styles. So you can make your own songs. You can explore making music with genres like rock, pop, jazz, and classical. Another tool I really love is called Amper Music. It's a web-based tool that's designed for musicians at all skill levels. You can actually easily create music with no prior musical experience. And I had so much fun working with these tools. I myself personally don't have a lot of experience with music. And so I thought it was so fascinating to be able to make music in minutes with these AI tools. Another tool I really love, this is free and it's designed and developed by Google, is called Instrument Playground. This is a web-based tool that lets you experiment with different musical instruments and different types of like musical compositions um, using AI. And so I really recommend this tool for demos or if children or adults want to play around and experiment with making music. So these are my two favorite tools for web design. This first tool is called Uizard, and it's really went come a long way as far as its development. I've talked about this tool about a year or two back, and it's just really come a long way. It has this really awesome collaborative whiteboard feature. You can do prototyping on it for both apps and web design and like other types of wireframing. Another tool I really love is called Framer.ai. You can do prototyping, basic web designs, and there's a free version. One thing I will say though about Framer AI is that um, because AI does a better job with more narrow tasks, the second you start asking it to do a more complex task, like design a website or design a presentation, it's going to struggle a bit more. And so it's going to give you like a basic sort of rough draft of a website, but be prepared to go in and spend a lot of time altering your website, the designs, and adding the, text and images that you like. AI is not sophisticated enough yet to just kind of build a complete website for someone in minutes yet. So it's very, very dependent on a person. Some of my favorite tools for podcasting and video editing are this one called Descript. It's a really powerful auto editing tool that's powered by AI, and you can use it for podcasting, video editing, and music production. There's another one called Pictory, which I really like. It's a really fantastic AI infused video editing tool where you can make professional quality videos in minutes. And another one called Clipchamp is a browser-based tool that's designed for making quick and easy edits to videos. If you have any experience making YouTube videos or with podcasting, you'll know that the editing time that goes into video and podcasting production, it can be really time consuming. And so these tools are fantastic for saving time and doing a really good job with sort of that basic, bare bones, coming up with like the quick edits to get you started on like more advanced edits. So I really love these tools. Another tool that I was really fascinated by is called MyHeritage AI Tools. The reason I decided to include this in a presentation about creativity was I was so fascinated by some of these. There's a couple of tools on here that I think are kind of for entertainment sake. And so what they're letting you do is they're letting you kind of travel through time. You can make an historic avatar of yourself, um, or like create more detailed biographies of your ancestors. And it's kind of picture based. It's really interesting. But then they have a more, I would say, serious AI record finder tool, which lets users chat with an AI to actually search a database of historic records. You can start trying to build your ancestry. And so I thought this was really fascinating way to approach genealogy and exploring more about your ancestry using AI. So then a really amazing development in all this AI stuff is that we are seeing a trend of AI becoming a part of the toy market and also being used when we're thinking about like playing and experimenting and being more creative. And so, an example of this is this AI tool called the Royby. It's an AI infused educational toy for kids. It has an educational component, so it can try to help children learn. It teaches in different languages, it has math instruction, and it can also read children short stories. Then there's another robot. It's not out in the market yet, but I thought was really interesting. It's called Mego's 2XL robot. And this robot is designed to have conversation with kids. It can speak in 30 different languages. And the claim is that it has long-term memory, although I'm not sure if that's a little bit of exaggeration because I've heard a lot of AI engineers say that generative AI really doesn't have a long-term memory, but that's what they're claiming. And it's going to launch soon. And so I think it's really fascinating to think about the world of toys, anything from a toy kitchen to a doll, and how it could become more sophisticated, smarter, more complex with AI infused inside. So now we're going to talk about how to use AI for some different creative project ideas. I really love this part of using AI tools because the truth is you really can do a lot of cool stuff using the generative AI tools that are on the market right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about creating bookmarks, creating collages, building fantasy worlds, and then I'm going to get a little bit into some of my favorite AI tool directories. I'm going to talk a little bit about resources. So you can build or make bookmarks using generative AI. Um, you can actually go on Midjourney and ask for Midjourney to create bookmarks for you directly, and then you could just cut them out. So on the upper right, you can see an example of this. I asked Midjourney to create me like fantasy bookmarks that have some sort of like a library theme, and this is what it created. Another thing you can do though is you can ask any image generator to create an image or something that looks more like paper. And what I mean by that is, paper that you've designed to look like wrapping paper. So kind of like this picture of mushrooms that's on the lower right. And then you can actually go into Canva, and Canva has a lot of bookmark templates, and so you could upload the image onto the Canva's bookmark templates, and you could print out and cut out your bookmarks that way. So then another really fun thing you can do with AI image generators is you can create a collage. If you use a generator like Midjourney, you can actually just ask Midjourney for some sort of a collage and it will create it for you. And so the examples that are um, on the lower left are examples of this, where I just asked Midjourney to create me different types of collages and it did that. Or you can kind of do collage the more old-fashioned way, where you're asking for a lot of pictures, you're printing them out, you're using scissors and paste, and you're making the collage yourself. But then Canva does have a lot of really fun sort of digital collage templates you can use. And so the example on the right here is an example of a vision board that I created using one of Canva's template tools. And so then there's a lot of really fun ways that you can use AI to make fantasy worlds. There's a really fun tool called world building that kind of takes you through building a world. It asks you what you want for an environment, characters, like the story, plot line, and all that. And it sort of starts building this world for you. If you pair that with Midjourney, you could create a really fun fantasy world. And then there's one AI tool that I have really been fascinated with for a while. It's called AI Dungeon. It's a web-based tool that kind of takes you step by step through building a world by asking you questions. And then it builds the world and it actually lets you play the world that you created like an online sort of fantasy game. And so it's a lot of fun. I really recommend this tool. So now I'm going to dive a little bit into my favorite resources for finding AI tools. Texas Tech has a library AI guide, which is a lot of fantastic advice and tools for research. Some of it does get a little bit more into reference work, but they've done a really, really good job curating this guide, so I highly recommend it. Then I've always really liked Top AI Tools. I think it's a really well organized website, and you can find a lot of tools according to like different topics. Another AI tool directory that's really popular is called Futurepedia. It's marketed as one of the largest AI directories. Another one that's really fantastic is called Future Tools. And of course, this one is sort of broken down into categories, just like top AI tools. Then there's another website that I really enjoy. It's called There's an AI for That. And it's a free website that lets you search for AI tools. And then when you search for them, there's an example on the lower right here. I searched for AI tools that were about design thinking, and it basically shows you like your search results with tools. And then I really love this because people can review the tools, leave comments, and it will tell you if the tool is free or not. Then, if you want to learn a little bit more about AI, I recommend there's two courses I highly recommend. The first is called Elements of AI. It's a free course. It takes you through the basics of AI, like basic fundamental, philosophy behind it and how it works. And then as you advance through the course, it lets you actually build your own AI with Python. So it's really fantastic. Then another course I really like is Andrew Ng's free AI course on Coursera. This course is really fantastic. It's a little bit different than the elements of AI because Andrew Ng is explaining AI a little bit more from the perspective of the way that AI engineers go about building AIs and how they design it. And he explains, particularly to like business owners, if they were interested in building an AI, what goes into that, what kind of data set you would need. One of the reasons I really love this course, though, is because he says a lot of things that I think are really pertinent and true. So, one of the things he says is he talks about how AI engineers are only building AI technology to replace specific tasks. They are not building AI to replace like an actual role that somebody might have in a company. And so that's really interesting for people who might be worried about job replacement. So, to wrap this presentation up, I'm ending with a quote from Elon Musk. He says, Generative AI is the most powerful tool for creativity that has ever been created. It has the potential to unleash a new era of human innovation. So, of course, I couldn't agree more. I personally, professionally, have really enjoyed using AI tools to be more creative, to improve my work, and I definitely think it has potential to help people, um, make new discoveries and improve their work, and of course, just be more innovative. And so I've been really excited to see how generative AI has been unfolding and impacting different industries and different people's work. So thank you so much for listening. We're at the Q&A part of this session. I really hope you can join us again. Our next presentation is going to be on deep fakes, and we're going to talk more about the deceptive nature of AI. If you have any questions or you would like to reach out to me, please feel free to do that. You can reach out to me on my email, which is info@webglowai.com. And so, thank you so much for joining today and learning about AI with me. This has always been so exciting. I enjoy making these presentations and sharing these AI tools with you all so much. So, thank you, and I can't wait to see you again next month.